Hi, besties. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Normally, you would get a video full of pictures of people and things, but today I have to make this video because things around here are going to have to change very soon. This is something that I've been dealing with my husband for a couple years now, and we just got news. And because of the news, and what we have to go through. My channel, there might be some interruptions in the video content and the number of videos that you get per day, and there might be some pauses. I don't know what it's going to look like, but to give you sort of an understanding of what's going on, um, and my husband is okay with me talking about this because obviously this is our business and y'all need to know what's going on. I'm not going to share too much about what's going on, but he was diagnosed with cancer. And the diagnosis happened a couple weeks ago. And thankfully, it is isolated to just one area of his body. And so he just has to undergo surgery to have his prostate removed. And that surgery is going to make his life and our life a little bit different because of his recovery. So, he will be undergoing surgery on June 11th, and he will stay in the hospital for just 1 day. But obviously, because we have a child, I can't stay there with him. And then when he comes home, he's going to need help because of the recovery process for surgeries like this is not very easy. Um, and he'll be in a lot of pain and he'll need to go to the doctor, I think a week later to have some stuff removed. So, I guess I just wanted to share this so that you know that behind every story that we share on this channel, behind every story that I do, I make this content to support my family. We have a child that has autism and that has a chronic medical conditions. And I am thus far in this family right now, the only one that's healthy. And it's a little bit overwhelming for me because I would lose. I mean, if I ever lost my husband, I would be devastated. My life would be shattered. And I mean, he's my first priority. My son is my first priority. Our family is our first priority. And so um, it's been very overwhelming for us to go through this. It's been a very interesting and confusing few years as we've been navigating his symptoms and how those symptoms have been impacting him both physically and mentally. And I guess the one thing I would just say for anyone is my husband is only like he's 54 and never skip out on your annual physicals and get checked if you're a man or a woman. And I say this as a way to almost remind myself because I have an outstanding 3 separate appointments I need to make for myself for screenings for various cancers. So just make sure that if something changes in your body that you talk to your doctor immediately. And for my husband, I just am so grateful because that's exactly what he did. And he wasn't too proud to do it. He wasn't, he didn't think he could just suck it up, and it was his diligence that is helping us because he was diagnosed with stage 1 with a Gleason score of 6, which is the lowest score you can have for this kind of cancer. And the immediate treatment that he needs is to have it removed. And I know a lot of people, I've shared this on my Instagram, have shared other options and alternatives to treat this type of cancer, but this is something that he needs based on what his doctor has said and based on his scans and where it's located. It needs to get out as soon as possible. So, what it'll look like on the channel, I don't know. I know that next week on Wednesday and on Thursday, I will not be uploading content. I will hopefully have some help with my son a couple days a week with one of his nurses because my son's last day of school was today. He's end of fifth grade graduate. He's going to middle school next year. And depending on how well my husband feels, um, it could be a couple weeks or it could be like 4 to 6 weeks. It really just depends. I know for at least the first week, he's going to be pretty immobile and he has to spend a lot of time with his legs elevated. And so I'm going to have to pull double duty being mommy and taking care of him. And obviously, if I can try to fix or mix in a video here and there, I'll be doing my best. And I've been trying my best to put out as much content as possible so that you guys have stuff that you can always pull back from. Um, but yeah, definitely has changed our lives. And I really just appreciate every one of you that watches all of these videos. I appreciate all of you that supports me and my husband. My husband might not be on this channel, but I cannot do this channel without him. And so while the business itself is me, we're a team. And my teammate needs help outside of this business. It's very scary because my business is a business where I don't have a boss. And so if I take a day off, that means I don't get paid. So there's a lot of trepidation and there's like a lot of anxiety I'm feeling about that. But his health is obviously the number one that we need. So again, he will have surgery on the 11th, and then he will be at home for a week where he will not be able to do a whole lot. And then after about a week, he'll be able to start doing a little bit more. So the next couple weeks are going to be a little bit sporadic on the channel. So Wednesday, the 11th, kind of just mark your calendars. Um, During that time, I will do my best to keep up to date on anything that I can post on my Instagram because that's usually a little bit easier for me. And I might be able to do some voiceovers where there's not a lot of editing, so that I'm able to, get something out for you because obviously there's been so much going on with this case that I'm covering with the lively stuff. And there's always a million things that I'm reporting on. So I just want to make sure that I stay on top of things. I'm kind of rambling right now, so I do apologize. But again, just make sure that as an adult that you don't, if something's going on with your body, make sure that you listen to your body. And if something feels off, talk to your doctor and make sure to go through your yearly screenings. This type of cancer is the most common kind of cancer that a man can have. And 1 in 6 men in the United States will be diagnosed with it at some point in their lives. And early detection and treatment is critical because if detected early, there's almost a 100% survival rate. And if it's not detected early enough, it can cause and lead to death. So making sure that you just truly keep on top of things and check things out. And some of the symptoms might make your husband or you feel confused and ashamed. And I just want to say, like, don't feel confused or ashamed. We can't control our bodies. We can't control what happens to our bodies. And there's no shame in being ill. It can definitely cause emotional issues and it can stress out relationships and it can be really hard on men mentally. But, you know, just if you have a spouse that's going through it, just the best I can do is be as supportive to him as possible and as understanding as possible and giving him the space to process everything while also processing it for myself. And then if you're a spouse that's a caregiver, just know that you're not alone and that it's kind of, it's stressful, obviously, knowing what's about to happen. And it's stressful because we have a child that's also sick. And it's stressful for me knowing that I'm now the one that's the healthiest. And it's a lot. It's been a lot for me. And to try to compartmentalize this and not tell you guys has been one of the hardest parts of this entire journey because pride myself on being very open and direct and just sharing with you. And, some of you have said, well, why do you call us besties? And it's because we're pretty homebound right now. We don't go out a lot. And his health has been um, something we've been dealing with for a couple years now. So it's, when you don't feel good, it's hard to want to go out and do things. And when things change in your body, it can cause sort of depression and making you feel funky. And, it's hard. It's hard on everyone. So if you've gone through it, I hope all of you guys that have gone through it understand. If you haven't gone through it, I don't wish this on anyone, but I do just want to say, please listen to your bodies, go get checked, and know that we will do everything that we can to get back to delivering you guys the content that you want as soon as we get back. But it'll be sporadic. I wish I knew if I could make a schedule. It's very hard because I'm so type A about my schedule when it comes to this job, and this is the opposite of being type A when it comes to this job. So that's kind of stuff that life throws at you. So again, thank you so much. This is really uncomfortable for me to share, and if you guys ever have questions or want to offer us support or want to, honestly, it's just being words of encouragement and being kind and understanding is probably the best you can do for us. We're definitely not looking for advice on treatment, and we're not looking at advice for alternative treatments. This is solidified about what we're doing. And everybody, if you're going through something, just remember, don't take advice from anyone on the internet. Talk to your doctor. All right. So thank you guys so much. And bye, guys.